Hello and welcome to the first of several updates on the ARP ESSER III grant for Regional School District Number 1. This December 2021 update is required as part of our grant requests, and we will continue to provide you with information about both how the grant monies are being spent and the goals that we have set relative to receiving this money from the federal government. You'll notice that there are 5 areas in which we could request funding for the ARP ESSER III grant. The Learning Acceleration, Academic Renewal, and Student Enrichment area was required, and we are required to spend 20% of our allocation in that area. As you can see on the screen, the other 4 areas are somewhat overlapping, and so we believe that the way we have allocated our funds provides for all 5 of these areas to be taken into account without sacrificing learning acceleration or academic renewal. Before we get started with the presentation, a few acronyms that are important in this presentation. The first is the DPI. That's the District Performance Indicator. You can think of that as a school report card of sorts based on 12 areas of data that we report to the Department of Education. It's important to note, though, that these indicators or these data sources include not only students' performance on standardized assessments, but also their participation in the arts, performance on the physical fitness tests, absenteeism, preparation for college and careers, and 4- and 6-year graduation rates. The DPI is also broken into 2 curricular areas, math and English language arts. The DPI for those 2 specific areas use only the data sources that are germane to those areas. A couple of other acronyms that you'll see. One is ESSA, that's the Every Student Succeeds Act, and that was an act that required Connecticut to provide milestones for the indicators in the DPI as part of its plan for the federal government. SBAC is the Smarter Balanced Assessment Consortium. That's the annual test that's given to students in grades 3 through 8. It does not apply to the high school. The Next Generation Science Standards, NGSS, are taken by students in grades 5, 8, and 11. And as you probably know, we give the SAT as our 11th grade annual test. And the other thing that's missing from this slide that I'll throw in is CBM, and those are curriculum-based measures. Those are in-class assessments that are aligned to our own curriculum. As I said at the beginning, there were 5 areas in which we could allocate the monies that were provided to us. We did not allocate any money to priorities 2, 4, and 5. But because there is some overlap between the priorities, we believe that we are making progress in all of those areas. Priority 1, learning acceleration, academic renewal, and student enrichment, was again a required area. We must allocate 20% of the monies that we received to this area. And you can see on the left the specific things that we have done to encourage and to promote learning acceleration and academic renewal. On the right-hand side of the screen, you will see our goal, and all of our goals are by 2024. The DPI will come within 10% of the expected values for the 2023-2024 school year. Those are 66.0 for ELA and 63.6 for math. Those are the ESSA milestones that the state created as part of its requirements for this grant. Our 1221 update, we are in the process of establishing some baseline data for comparisons going forward. The CSDA did not calculate DPIs for the past school year, so we will probably be using curriculum-based measures as one of our ways to measure our progress towards our goals. In priority 3, social, emotional, and mental health for our students and staff, You'll notice that on the left, we will hire a 1.0 school psychologist. That was not filled in December. We will also hire a 1.0 behavior technician, hire a social worker at the high school, and provide funds for our 10th graders to attend Club Getaway, something that we do with our 9th graders every year, but were unable to do last year because of COVID. So we're sending both our 9th and 10th graders. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll see our goal, and we say by hiring additional staff and continuing our effective SEL programming, we will reduce chronic absenteeism from 10% to 8% by 2024. In 2021, we are collecting data monthly for an end-of-year chronic absentee rate, and the school social worker is seeing students who are not coming to school regularly. The state also allowed for other approved uses of the money, and so our region, the regional district, provided 50% of the cost of the HR generalist who will work out of central office. So this was provided for in our ESSER II application and approved, and again approved as part of our ESSER III allocation. It's important in this area to recognize that this year the region is paying 50% of that cost out of our grant funds. Next year we will pay a smaller percentage of the cost out of our grant funds, and in the third year of the grant we'll provide a smaller part of that cost out of grant funding, and each year the board's contribution to that position will increase. What we're hoping that will happen is by the third year of the grant funding, when the money runs out, the regional board will not have a fiscal cliff over which they will have to fall. That is, they will not have to provide significant additional amounts of money because we have been slowly shifting the costs from our grants to our operating budget. That's everything that we asked for and needed to provide information to you about for the ARP ESSER III grant. If you have additional questions, you can certainly contact your building principal or the assistant superintendent's office.